Good morning, all. Welcome back to Tottenham on Tour's Cockerel Doodle Doo. On today's show, we're going to be talking about Lange's interview, the blue cards and sin bins. Is it a good idea for the Premier League or is it a load of rubbish? And of course, Brighton and Hove Albion. See you in a couple of seconds. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Tottenham on Tour. We've got a great selection of guests this morning. As you can see, we're running things slightly. We no longer have a minute timer, which means, I don't know, you won't have a chance to jam for a minute and a half, but at least you get to listen to us for an extra minute and a half, which is always groovy. Joining me today, we've got my co-host on The Morning Brews, Mr. David. We've got Amir and we've got Mr. Lubin. David, how are you doing this morning, sir?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. Weather's miserable, but yeah, I'm breathing and alive, so can't complain.
Absolutely, weather is absolutely dreadful this morning, right? It's shocking, absolutely shocking. Amir, Aki, what's happening, buddy?
Yeah, just adjusting to the new weather in not new weather, but the weather in England. You know, after being so many years in Israel, it's even though I was brought up here, you get used to a certain kind of thing, and then coming back here for, we were saying off camera, it's like living in a cloud. It really is. It's just so misty, and it hasn't decided if it's raining or not, if it's drizzling or not. It really is something else.
Absolutely. And finally, Mr. Lubin, how are you doing this morning, sir?
All good. Well, firstly, it's Friday, and secondly, we've got a match tomorrow, so happy days.
Angeball Eve is back. Angeball Eve is back. Let's get into it, everyone. Yesterday on the Tottenham Hotspur YouTube channel, they posted an interview with the current technical director, Mr. Johan Lang, talking about signings, his work with Ange, and all round. But actually, no, I forgot to introduce the guest. Let's see. Whilst you're thinking about Johan Lang, let's see who's in the chat. Let's say morning to our members. We got we got Sean Slater, we got Rady Id from Guardians of the Pombo, we got Andrew Gregory, we got Kimber, Mr. Colin Cross. I don't know who this guy is. We got the number one Agambar in the world. We got Phil P. Even though people don't like announcing me like he's an owl, he's my guy. So I'm going to say woo. Anyone that doesn't like woos can boo it off. We got Fran. Good to see you, Fran. Tavacron Wembley 1. Sammy. We got Benjamin Foster. MZ. And Rhythmic Renegades. Adiz. Ash. Lee. And the Sheriff. Right. Johan Lang's interview. David, what did you think?
Yeah, I mean, it was an all right interview, gave us a little insight to what he's thinking and how the club are thinking of transfers and stuff like that. I mean, it's not something we haven't heard before, is it? I mean, we've seen it under Paratici when he was in his little coffee shop with the kids screaming in the background, it's just your normal general chatter, isn't it, that they give out when the window's finished and stuff like that. So, but it was nice to hear, the progress of the club, and where they want to go and where they want to progress with things and how they're looking at the team. And not just that, they're looking at the youth, they're looking at the women's team as well. So overall, it's your standard interview, but it was nice to hear certain things,
I thought it was very refreshing, Amir. What do you think of it? I thought it was really refreshing to talk about the entire club as a whole. We, again, like David said, we had it with Paratici, but with Paratici, it seemed a lot more scripted, a lot more deliberate with the way he was talking. But I think with Lang, I think it was really good. I thought it was really refreshing. What do you think?
Yeah, I'd agree with you there, Ben. I think it is really refreshing to hear about things going on as a whole, and when we're looking at the work that's being done there on the youth section and the under 21s team, the under 18s team, all doing so fantastically with Angeball and with the change in mentality and with the change in philosophy, bringing in these young players, this new Swedish Berggal is his name?
Berggal, yeah.
Bergau,
or whatever it is.
you know, you're looking at him, you're looking at Vuskovic, you know, the future really is bright when you're looking at the youth and what we're developing and what we're building. So I'm very happy about those things. And, you know, seeing us just absolutely smash teams in the under 21s is, you know, doing fantastic. I really think that's a positive. Just one little caveat and one little negative. I do think, though, our transfer policy does need to, for me, it needs to change a little bit, to be honest. We can't just look at youth. You know, I've been saying for a while now, I think it's time in this summer that we go out and sign 2 marquee signings. And when I say marquee signings, I do mean going out and spending that, you know, 60 to 70, 80 mil and go and get players that will battle for first positions. But yeah, apart from the marquee signings, I'm very happy with the direction that Lang is going in, the way the youth is. I think we're on the up and up. There's many positives there. We just need to be building on it. And the fact that we have the advantage with the FFP, I think this summer you go out and you take advantage of that fully. Good
stuff. Ian, what's your thoughts on the interview? Do you agree with the 2 boys that have just followed you? Or,
yes.
Or do you think it's a good...
Do. No, I mean, Lange has come out, obviously, previously Paratici has spoken, but that obviously isn't going to happen now until he's through this, until he's back full time. So you got Lang talking. I think it's very helpful because you never hear anything from the club. You know, for me, that's been a major issue since Enid took over. And the interview was good. The interview said all the right things.
Mm-hmm.
I do agree with Amir regarding a marquee signing, just a centre forward. That's all. Just to work alongside someone good to work alongside Richarlison. I think, you know, the way other clubs use 2 centre forwards, I think the money we spend and who we go for could depend on what Richarlison does between now and the end of the season. And, you know, but you're never going to get our owners spending big money. They haven't done for 23 years. They're not going to start now. They're just not, which is why they're going down the route of trying to pick off the best young talent, which is the other end of the spectrum. And, you know, they're doing okay. You know, you look at next season, you look at midfield, you've got Devine coming back, you've got Bergvall coming in. Mm-hmm. For me, you've got the boy Tyrese Hall, who I saw in the Youth Cup match on Tuesday against Bournemouth. And like I did at Burton Albion in the previous round last one. The guy's fabulous. Bring those 3 in. Yeah. If you sell the Celso, Skip and Højbjerg, you don't need to spend the big money. You got the players already, you got them in place. So, but yes, generally encouraged with what Lange had to say.
Absolutely. Before we go back to the other 2 boys to talk more about the Lange interview, what did you think of Tyrese Hall's performance in the Youth Cup? Because you went because you just said it. Go into it. Dive into what Tyrese Hall was going to do for Tottenham, and if we can really get. I know Man City have been sniffing around him, so
they have. He is
not a boy we should be getting rid of, is it?
Oh God, no. For me, he should be in the first team squad next year.
Yeah.
He probably needs building up fractionally because he is slight, but then so was David Silva and so was Lionel Messi, you know, in terms of build. So, but his way to pass is superb. The timing of the passing is excellent. He spins off at 180 away from players; they don't get near him. And the kid at that level, you know, I know FA Youth Cup, under-18s, and Premier League are worlds apart. But he stood out. Him and Mikey Moore stood out head and shoulders above everybody else again. So, you know, you can see the players that are coming through the same way that when I watched Rooney play for Everton at Spurs in a FA Youth Cup semi-final, the season before he broke through in the October with that goal against Arsenal. You know, it was head and shoulders. So, no, first class. You know, the youth team played like the first team. Played inverted fullbacks, pressed hard, you know, pushed up on their back 4. The first 2 goals came because of that.
Yeah.
You know, Bournemouth gave the ball away, and before they knew it, the ball was in the back of the net. We were 2 up in 7 minutes. So it's encouraging. You can see that the same style is being taken up by the whole club, right the way down to the academy. So all good.
It's the way it should have been, shouldn't it, Amir? That we should have been playing that way from the get-go. Why has it taken so long to start doing that? What Ian has been saying, playing the same way throughout the entire... Why have we acted like this until now?
Do you know what? I think it comes down to one man. And I think viewers on the channel will know who I'm talking about here. I think it comes down to the chairman. You know, if you're looking at Levy and the managerial appointments that he's made, you know, the chopping and changing and the going from Jose to Conte to Nuno to Mason to Stellini, you know, that just breeds madness on a footballing level. So I think that's why we've gone so off course, and it's so thank the Lord that Ange has come in and has managed to sort it out. When we're talking about this change of philosophy, you know, going throughout all the levels of football, for me, that's a sign that we are truly progressing to something. And the fact that these young players, Dragusin, I sat on a pod saying there's not a hope in hell he's going to choose Spurs over Bayern.
Yeah.
But I was obviously completely and utterly wrong. So there's obviously something cooking here. And, you know, Ian, you're speaking about Mikey Moore there. He looks like a fantastic talent. You know, I'd even say, you know, get him out on loan to the Championship or League One next season. You know, we really need to start progressing these young players. And I'm really loving the look of it. And I think something that I've done personally, I don't know if this will help anyone else out there, but I'm trying to get out of the past scars. You know, if you're looking at all the crap that we've done in the transfer window and all the kind of mistakes that we've made over the last 20 odd years, I'm trying to get out of that, really get into this new phase of what we're doing. And yeah, that's why for me, if I see a marquee signing in the summer, that will, for me, change everything. It will show me that we're really taking the steps to move up in levels.
But Amir, the only bad since Paratici came in 2.5 years ago,
yeah,
we bought 18 players, and the only player really that hasn't come through that's been a complete failure has been Spence.
Apparently he's doing well in Gennaro at the moment. Apparently they really like him over there. So maybe, just maybe, I'm crossing my fingers, maybe they might have done a Mulan and made a man out of him over in Italy.
That'd be incredible.
As long as they don't have to do the song sequence, even though it would be funny to see Jed Spence singing "Make a Man Out of You," but that'd be an interesting one. David, what do you think of these current youth players? Did you have a chance to watch them, or are you blind to the most part of, or have you got to see them on like videos and Levy play and all that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen clips and stuff like that. I don't get a chance to watch them all the time. But for me, this whole situation with the youth and everything, what worries me is the comments made from Lange and Ange, where they said that, you know what I mean? If you look at the current league that they're in, the under-21s, they're top of it. I think they've got a 100% record. Yet both of them have stated that them players are not ready, hence why they're going out to buy youth players to come into the first team to fill that type of gap where they're not ready to come up yet, which they're doing so well there. It sends like a little message to them. Like, you're doing really well, but we don't believe you're still good enough to get into the first team, which is that worried me a little there. And I feel that it's less of that issue, more of the fact that we're going out buying these youth players because in 3 or 4 years after we've used them, built them up, they're going to be worth a large amount of money. So Levy's going to have this big team full of these young wonder kids type of thing, built up under Ange, hopefully, and then he can just sell them all. And then we can go down this route again. It's going to be like, bring them in, build them up, sell them. Bring them in, build them up, sell them. And I'm worried he's using Ange and the situation around the club to have that in there, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, where he's going to be doing this little thing where he knows he's going to bring a large amount of money in for these wonder kids rather than getting them for the right reasons. And our academy is still going to be neglected a lot. And that's just what's in my head there. Whether I'm right, I don't know. But I've just got a little worry that Levy isn't being completely honest as to the reasons why he's doing these little things. And he's got his own little agenda.
But David, this is the thing, right? This is the thing what I was saying before about getting over the scars of the past. I'm getting your negativity coming from that. You're thinking Levy's going to screw this up. He's going to mismanage the youth. Look how Ali was mismanaged. Look how other players were mismanaged. Madueke was mismanaged. There's been a lot of mismanagement there. But try and just get out of that. What was the past was the past. What we're in now is a new future. And we're going through a new stage. I'm seeing actually the youth and telling them that they're not ready is only going to fire them up more. I reckon. I think that's a tactic. He's saying they're not quite ready to fire them up even more, to get them playing even harder to work to get into that team. And I actually think that they're seeing a bit of a pathway there. Your boy, Alfie Devine, he's going to be coming into the first team next season. I think that's known to everyone. And I think those players going out on loan, your Phillips, get that experience, come back in and fight for your place in the first team squad. So, I get the negativity. I get where it's coming from because I've been in as well. But I really do think we're on the cusp of something very, very special. And
I agree.
Can I just clarify when I talked about Perisic and transfers? I'm talking about the last 2.5 years with Romero being his first acquisition. Players like Sessegnon was bought. I see Sessegnon's up on the comment.
Sessegnon's 5 years ago.
Sessegnon was 4 years ago, bought with Jack Clark and Dombele, and also with Pochettino.
So it's a different. It's
just talking from Romero onwards. And Romero was followed by Bentancur and Kulusevski and all the players that have come on since then.
Yeah, can I just reply to Amir quickly, just on that point? The reason I'm worried is not because of obviously the past and everything like that. What I was worried about is what Lange and Ange said about the youth, but then saying about bringing in players now, like this young kid, Bergval, yeah? Mm-hmm. They're bringing him in because they believe he's ready for this first team. Now, he's never played a second of Premier League football. He's never been English football. So that's why I was worried in that sense of the fact that the youth are looking at that and thinking to themselves, well, this kid's never played in English football. We're literally top of our league. We're doing amazing, but as
a rebuttal to that though, David, maybe bringing in some of these wonder kids, metal sharpened metal. Metal sharpened metal. Right. If you bring in one of these absolute starlets, perhaps these really good young players that are top of the division can make him even better because they we're a solid cohesive unit. We're going to make you better. You're going to be the star amongst us, and we're going to be an amazing. So maybe metal can sharpen metal. David, what do you think?
No, I agree with that. Yeah, obviously, Amir is right. You look at it, for 20 odd years. You know what I mean? I've watched Tottenham, and you get this, like you said, scars within you. So you look at things with a bit of a different mind to being overly positive. Now I'm a positive person. I love the way the club's going. I love the situation. You just see little tiny bits within what these are saying, the words they're using and all that. And you've seen it in the past. And it kind of just brings that little bit out of you to just question the reasoning behind what they're doing. Sometimes.
No, I hear that, David. And I get where it's coming from. 100%.
Any final comments on?
Yeah, just one. I'm seeing the comments. Sammy's mentioned about Brian Gill. Well, Sammy, if you were Brian Gill, would you feel you've been given a fair chance in the first team since you've been at the club?
As much as I don't like him, I've got to agree.
Nobody knows whether he's good enough or not because you see him fleetingly. Yeah. Players have got to be given the chance to get back into their rhythm. They've got to get match fit, 5 or 6 games. This is why last week at Everton, Maddison struggled for the best part of the game. He's just back. Bentancur's still struggling after timeouts. Yeah. We got swamped in midfield. Boydie, we know, isn't quite up to Angeball. So we lost the midfield, and ultimately we lost 2 points. But players have got to be given an opportunity, and if they're not given an opportunity,
move them on.
You can't tell us he had 15 minutes. He's coming in cold into a game. Yeah, it's not fair. Gill's never been given a proper opportunity. I'm not saying he's the answer. I'm not saying that he would be good enough because I genuinely don't know.
You have to see him play at least a few times.
That's right.
Absolutely. Before we head on to the next topic, which is probably going to be the longest topic of the show, I would reckon, because it's the most absolute ridiculous story on the planet. Just a quick plug for the coffee company. We are currently streaming at the same time as Tottenham on Tour. We're doing one of these dual stream thingies that the kids have been doing around the block. So I have dropped the link in the live chat. It's right there. Please subscribe to the coffee company if you haven't already. We've got a new coffee coming out in the next week, if I can get better in the next week. And yes, please subscribe to the coffee company, Tottenham on Tour's second channel. It would really help me out a lot. It helps Tottenham on Tour out a lot because we're basically a family unit. We have always been a family unit. But please get over there. It really helps us and it would make me very happy. Right. The next topic of the show. They announced yesterday that blue cards and sin bins are going to be trialled in football from next year, except in top flight football. So that could mean in League 2, League 1, or whatever the league are in other footballs. What is this? I'm going to post my opinion here because it's my show and I do whatever the hell I want. But blue cards and sin bins is the most ridiculous idea I could possibly have ever heard. The reason we all love football is because of how quick it is, how passionate it is, how it's spontaneous. If you start bringing in blue cards, like rugby, rugby doesn't have blue cards, but it's got sin bins and it's got sin bins. Reason sin bins work in rugby because they've got much more players on their teams. And they respect the referee's decision. So they don't really use the sin bins too often because, frankly, the referees actually get decisions right. It would be better for English football and for football in general if they invested more money in the refereeing system and having better, more professional referees to work. And like Sean Slater has just said here, it will cause more injuries because people will have to warm up in the sin bin to make sure they don't pull hamstrings. We will start with David. What's your thought on this new ruling or new trial?
It's completely ludicrous. I don't understand why they're even contemplating bringing this into football. It works in rugby and works in the NFL because the NHL, sorry, it works in them because it was built upon that. You know, they had this pretty much from the start, these type of sin bin situations in football. It just won't work. 10 minutes, taking a player off for 10 minutes. I could understand if they would say a minute or 2 minutes, but 10 minutes. And how does it work? The rules about it, they can't even get VAR right. Now, This is video technology that they can't get right. They're still making mass mistakes. They made 20. They've admitted to 20, but they made a lot more than that. But they've admitted to 20 this year. Now, if they can't get that right, how are the rest going to get this right? It's crazy. Injuries are going to happen. Team football will be dreadful. Can you imagine a team losing a player? They're just going to go into a low block. And they're not going to attack. They're not going to think. They're going to waste time until that player comes back on the pitch. It's ludicrous and for me, the refs are doing it just because it gives them more power on the pitch. You know, if you look at a player, say Spurs, right? Romero makes a tackle, perfectly clean tackle, and we're 1-1 with like a Chelsea or a Liverpool or an Arsenal, something like that. Romero makes a complete clean tackle. The referee gives a foul for it. Romero goes, The ref gives him a blue card for it. But the ref's at fault. The ref made the wrong decision of a perfectly clean foul, but yet Romero will get, say, if it's him, he'll get punished for it, and then we lose him for 10 minutes. So we lose a defender for 10 minutes, which gives the opposite team a complete advantage. And refs are biased. No one can say they're not. Refs are biased towards teams. You see it game after game where they'll be more onto one team than the other. They'll pick and choose who they decide to give more cards to give the easier fouls to. I mean, you look at us this season. We've had one penalty, yet we spent more time in the opponent's box than any other team in the Prem. We have been hacked down. We've been kicked the hell out of all season. Get nothing. Our player's shoulder barges another one. It's a yellow card. And it's not just us. There's many teams out there the same. It will ruin football completely, and it won't be the end of football, but the enjoyment of football. The reason us fans are fans of this sport will take a lot of that away, and I can see people not going to stadiums and that to watch it because it will be boring.
That's a brilliant speech. End the show. Amir, this is madness, isn't it? It's totally madness. Do a David. Speak for as long as you need to talk about this stupid ruling that they've brought out.
Well, it's the biggest can of worms ever introduced into the game. I think, what David said, he was spot on. We can't get VAR right, and they want to add in a whole different card and different level of, foul for sin binning. It's just, I don't know who comes up with these things, but they're obviously not football fans. They're obviously, they want to create money for advertisement, blue card sponsored by whatever, and they're going to have quarters and cooling breaks. And I don't like the way where the game's going in that sense, Ben. It really frustrates me. And, when I see that there are things that could be done to improve the game, very, very small things that aren't being looked at. And, instead they come up with all these crazy ideas. It really frustrates me, to be honest with you, Ben. And, I don't envy the job of the referees, and bringing this thing in will just make things a million times harder for them. And we've seen how hard it's been for them to adapt to VAR. So, yeah, it's absolutely bananas for me.
I see Ian is stewing in the corner. I see him getting angrier and angrier as both the boys talk. So, Ian, do you want to unleash on this whole thing?
I just want to repeat what I said previously, that this is a further example of the authorities of IFAB trying to sanitise the game of football. It's not a perfect game. It's not like tennis where a service is either inside the box or it's not. It's not like a game of cricket where he's either hit the ball bit on his way to the wicketkeeper or not. It's a different game completely.
Yeah. And
they've all lost the plot because they're all full of their own self-importance, and they are killing the game. Yeah. I can't add too much more. David said a lot of what I was going to say anyway. But that's my feeling. There is, you're right about the injuries. It does work in rugby, but players do go off. When I watch internationals, which is the only bit of rugby I do watch with the Six Nations, you get players. One player might go off, two players max, but it's very rare. This is horrendous what they're doing. They're just, and what worries me is football's just letting this refereeing body get on and ruin the game. I mean, handball. Who knows? People in the game don't even know what handball is. It used to be very simple. It was accidental or it was deliberate, and that was the end of it. Yeah. Now they've complicated the whole thing. Offsides complicated everything. They're just wrecking the game. And the fans will start to switch off soon. You'll have less fans watching. Only then will the advertisers who spend big money start getting involved, and only then maybe when money's being affected, earnings are being affected, then something will be done. But I can't believe that the clubs, you've got this body of European clubs.
What if a goalkeeper gets a blue card and you've got no goalkeeper for 10 minets?
That's right.
Changes the game completely.
It ends up like when Harry Kane.
Do you have Monkey Rush where a defender comes to goal suddenly?
Yeah,
Monkey Rush, lads. It's in the playground. It's ridiculous. We actually do have a very controversial opinion. Big up, Joris. Good to see you. I like it. It's the cynical game, not the cynical game.
That's right. Goalkeepers won't get involved. They will get booked now if they hang on to the ball. I think it's more than 12 seconds. There will be a yellow card. So goalkeepers will cut out the time wasting. That's a rule change that I agree, because there's nothing more frustrating than watching goalkeepers. When Spurs are 1 down at home after 30 minutes, people like Ben Foster in the past, and they just waste time. So cut that out, agreed. But this whole thing about blue cards, they're taking the physical contact out of our game, and they're killing it.
It'll just become netball. It'll just become netball. Start like that. But there is another thing about this. Now, this blue card system could technically work if you think about it, right? I'm dead against it, by the way. But if they used it correctly, then it could work. If, say, the blue card was like a first warning to a player, right? That's your first warning, right? Then they get the yellow card. The yellow card could be like, hypothetically, the sin bin card, but not 10 minutes, right? Take the player off for 1 to 2 minutes, yeah? That's your second warning. Anything after that, they get the red card or another yellow or a second blue, and then they have to leave the game for the entire game. Stuff like that. There's ways to do it, but the idea of what they're bringing in now is ridiculous. There is ways to use it correctly, but it just won't work because there's too many different entities that thing. What happens when, like, you see a City, with Haaland, Silva, De Bruyne rushing the referee? Does he give them all blue cards so 3 or 4 players go off at once? How many players are allowed to leave the pitch at once?
Yeah. David, I don't think whether it's 2 minutes or 10 minutes makes a difference. I just think it's a bad idea. If it's 2 minutes,
I agree.
No, for 2 minutes it makes no difference. You may as well not have it for 2 minutes. 10 minutes is a deterrent. So, but the whole thing's wrong.
Oh, yeah.
100%. A lot of people are talking about injuries. Yeah. You will have to have 40-man squads because the amount of injuries you will get because people get blue cards and do their hamstrings after sprinting again. We are in an absolute epidemic of hamstring problems. It's all over world football because of playing too many tournaments, too many games in too small space of time. With the speed of the game, they used to be able to play 2 games in 2 days when the football wasn't so fast. Now it's so quick, you cannot see it. It's going to just cause injuries, isn't it, David?
100%. Van der Ven is the perfect example with VAR. That Chelsea game, the reason he got that hamstring injury is because for the majority of the time, it was a stop-start game because of the amount of VAR decisions and how much they had to look at it and things like that. His body cooled down, his legs cooled down. Now, a player like him who uses immediate pace, starts bang, straight off the bat, uses everything within his hamstring and his muscles, his calves, everything at once to build that speed up quickly. And his hamstring couldn't handle it because it cooled down. Now, with this sin bin idea, what are the players allowed to do? Do they go on the touchline and run up and down it to keep warm for 10 minutes? Do they sit in a box that has big neon signs saying sin bin? It doesn't make sense to risk the players even more.
Sin bin sponsored by McDonald's.
Yeah, exactly.
Have a Big Mac whilst you're sitting on a warm chair.
Exactly. And for me, it's dangerous because, like you say, the amount of injuries, and these are not just your standard normal little knocks or little niggly little injuries. These are ACLs, MCLs, hamstring injuries that are keeping players out for so long.
Yeah.
And it's not only ruining their career, it's ruining football, it's ruining teams. It's just dangerous. It's dangerous. That's what it is for me. It's dangerous.
In regards to George's saying, watch nearly all cynical fouls end, achieving the goal. With this, I don't think this will end it. What will happen is teams will have a designated cynical foul guy.
Exactly.
They will have a designated, right, you're going to kick the guy. You're going to be the guy, and then they will just put 10 men behind the ball. Like a Tavok on Wembley. How many people score within 1 to 2? No, what they will do is they will put 10 men behind the ball, like Man City can do because they've got the better defenders. But in a case like Luton Town, if they lose a defender against Man City, it's going to be 10. They're going to score 3 goals in about 5 minutes. Some of the it's only going to benefit big teams because they've got the squads and they've got the money to buy players and say, you know what, Højbjerg, you're our cynical foul guy. When they make a break, I want you to take him out. Because it makes no difference if Højbjerg is on the pitch for 10 minutes or not. He's terrible. But they will have a cynical foul guy. They will have a guy that's specifically in the team to call cynical fouls, just so they get sin bins.
Can I just reply to Amin, who just said the old guard on here should calm down? Basically, football's been fine for 100 years. And all of a sudden, they've started making these changes. It worked for years. It's the biggest game in the world and has been. This is what I'm referring to. It's not a question of getting used to it. If something's wrong, get rid of it. Don't say, well, it's wrong, but we'll accept it. There's too much acceptance of bad situations today.
Yep.
This is one of them. VAR should be scrapped. Should just be scrapped.
Yep.
Get back to a referee in the game properly, with accidental and deliberate handballs. We've got take up the UEFA automated offside system and keep VAR specifically for whether a foul or handballs, whether an offence has been committed inside the 18-yard line or not. Goal line technology is already in place, and that works very well. And that's it. Simplify the game. Don't complicate it. They're wrecking it.
But it's like going to a restaurant. I'd rather go to a restaurant that does 5 things really well than go to a restaurant that does 1,000 things badly.
Yeah.
And that's what it is.
We progressed through the years, though. Yeah, but haven't we progressed through the years? I mean, you look when football was around, right? You could pass back to a keeper and he could pick it up. There was no offsides. We have progressed the sport through the years. The difference is this type of progression is damaging the sport, and that's why we're against it, because we don't want the sport to be damaged. Passing back to the keeper was scrapped, right? So that's great. That improved the sport. Offside improved the sport. It had entertainment to it. Cynical fouls add entertainment. As a fan, you're watching a player run on goal and someone takes him out and gets a yellow card. That gets the rival fans like, rah. The home fans are like, yes. You take that out of it, what are the fans got to be excited for? You know what I mean? Watching all the players on the pitch individually in little boxes on the pitch, standing there and passing the ball like netball.
Yeah,
it's dangerous the way they're going. You can change the game up, but doing it positively. This, like VAR, like Ian said there, and like this blue card system, that's changing the game negatively. If you want to improve the game, get the refs to be more consistent with the decisions. Teach the refs better. That's it. You want the refs to have respect from the players.
Yeah.
Give the refs the ability to actually ref the game. Any decision now, it's VAR. That's it. It's straight away VAR. Why can't the ref make that decision?
This is the really funny thing. I doubt you could go to an insurance company and blame VAR for a hamstring injury. They will sponsor the sin bin. It will be the sin bin sponsored by Claims Direct. Have you had a hamstring injury that wasn't your fault? Call Claims Direct. Or Hastings Direct. 0800 00. Get in the sin bin. I need to work on that. The insurance company will sponsor the sin bin. The sin bin sponsored by 321 Red. It's going to be brilliant. It's going to be hilarious. And everyone in the chat, who do you think, which insurance company should sponsor the sin bin? Put it in the comments down below after this stream ends, or put it in the chat. Let's see what you guys think. Which insurance company should sponsor the sin bin?
Can I just point out one thing as well that was a recent change that is negative towards football, right? And not many people point it out a lot, yeah? And for me, it's the linesman leaving the offside calls late. Yeah. Even that, a simplistic thing that they need to do, they still get that wrong.
Yeah.
1 minute, a player will run through offside and they'll leave it. Wait until either the shot's been taken or stuff like that, then they'll pull up the flag. Then in literally the next sequence, the same player could do the same thing and they'll call it offside straight away. They still get that wrong, and that's such a simplistic thing. And that was a minute change to the sport.
The biggest problem there, David, is injuries. And sooner or later, with the linesman not putting his flag up when he should have done, someone was going to get injured, and it happened to Edison at Newcastle.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. And that's just a simplistic little thing.
Yeah.
That didn't need changing. Why did that need changing? It's either offside or it isn't. There's no reason to let the play run. No. It adds nothing to the game. So when you look at it of change, simplistic things like that can cause damage to football, but we all accept it. It's just one of them things because it doesn't have a massive overall effect. But it's still got issues. So for me, it's just crazy. leave the game alone or get it back to being more simplistic.
Absolutely. It's a simple game. Corey Boy is saying Churchill should sponsor the sin bin.
Yeah.
Every time you sit in the sin bin, it goes, "Oh yes." Kudos is saying AIA. Cinch is already in talks with Levy. So what's going to happen is they're just going to put a car by the side of the pitch, and the sin bin's actually going to be a new Range Rover. There we go. Try this new Range Rover out the side. The sin bin, sponsored by Cinch Motors.
Are we gonna have that guy? Are we gonna have that person on the little moped going in delivering the football at half time?
Oh, maybe. Absolutely. The Go Compare guy. Go Compare sponsors the sin bin. Every time, what's his name comes out and sings the song. It'd be great.
Half-time show.
The half-time
Go
show.
Compare guy.
AXA. The OGs are moaning. I wouldn't say it's moan. It's having rightful skepticism. It doesn't work. If they would have had sin bins in football, they would already have done it by now. There's a reason that better minds than us and football minds have decided this is not part of football. Isn't that right, Amir, for the most part?
Look, 100%. You know, it's not about moaning and complaining. It's about looking after something that you've developed. Like Ian said, it's over 100 years of development of the beautiful game. And you don't want to throw it all away because it can all be thrown away. I think that's what people don't really realize, you know. The game can go down a hill and never come back. It can happen. I know it doesn't seem likely, but it can. And it's being ruined, you know. For me, the VAR thing has really taken football, you know, a step back when it should have been a step forward. So, you know, all this kind of talk of, you know, sin bins and blue cards, and for me, it's even more. You're looking at going down a very, very dark road. Yeah, just shouldn't be something that we even think about. And if we cast our minds back to a few years ago when they tried to push the Super League on us, you know, we saw the response to that. So if anyone's, you know, thinking, you know, we're doomed and, you know, they're going to make these changes and you're going to see, you know, quarter time breaks and you're going to see sin bins. Well, no, it's up to us to make sure that we keep hold of our game the way we like it, the way we want it.
Yeah.
And, you know, if they did, you know, implement it somewhere, show them by leaving the stadium as soon as a blue card is shown that you're not for that. The same way we did with the Super League and we rallied against it. And, you know, you've still got people pushing for it, but you've got a mighty force coming back at them. And that's what I think football fans need to kind of remember, that, you know, at the end of the day, they don't have business without us.
Yeah.
Final words on the topic, boys. Who wants to speak on it? Ian, have you got any more to say on it?
No, scrap it. Forget it. It's going to be trialled next year in the FA Cup. Let's hope it's an absolute disaster.
Yeah, totally agree.
Everyone's talking about VAR. They talked about it on my boys, the Free Spurs boys, last night. They talked about VAR because Cooves hates it and wants it scrapped with every shape or form.
Well, they had a guy from UEFA on TalkSport a couple of months ago, and he was saying that they are looking to run VAR to see how it goes for 10 years, which takes us through to 2030. So, and that came from UEFA. So,
what's going to happen first? Tottenham win a trophy or VAR getting scrapped? Find out next week. That's but VAR, it's a joke. The only thing that they have introduced to football in the last 20 years that's worked is a goal line technology, because it's instant. It's instant and it's only broken once, which it had massive complications for it not working, which a team got relegated. Sheffield United got relegated because of it. This is going to be a disaster. Bringing more things that are black and white decisions is either right or it's wrong. VAR, which I think my uncle gave me the idea, and it is my uncle's idea. You have 3 monitors, one on real time, one 10 seconds afterwards, one 15 seconds. Look at decision 1, look at it twice, look at it 3 times. If you can't do a decision within 15 seconds, go with the on-field decision of play. None of this nonsense. 4 minutes of VAR checks, 4 minutes of this, 5 minutes of that. It's making life for the match-going fan impossible. As me, someone that goes every week, 3 o'clock game, you're getting home at 7 o'clock now. That is a joke. It takes up your entire day. It might as well be NFL, where you have tailgating, you have barbecues outside the stadium. But we don't have the game for that. We don't have tailgating culture where people come with their coolers and their barbecues. Football's a very short game, hour and a half long. Go home back to your family, go to the pub after the game. It's taking too long. Too long, and it's about time that it's got rid of. Right. The last topic of the show, probably the most important topic of the show. Tottenham Hotspur are playing Brighton tomorrow in the Premier League. It is a 3 o'clock kickoff. 3 o'clock kickoff at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. What are your thoughts on it, David?
I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be a good game. It'll be an end-to-end game. It's nice to have so many players back. I mean, we've missed so many for how long now? It's nice for Ange to have a bit of an issue of who he's going to pick. I think we'll win, but I don't think it's going to be an easy game because Brighton have had a bit of an on and off past few games, haven't they? So have we. I think we need to control the game this time. I think we need to see Ange implementing that type of controlling of the game, especially if it's coming to the last stages and we're in a winning position. These players, they have to control the game. We shouldn't be gun-hoing when we're like against Everton. We're 2-1 up. We don't need to carry on attacking. Control the ball. Take it to the line. Waste time a little. But it wasn't that. It was still gun-ho, and we had the repercussions of that. So I'm hoping Ange this week got into him and, implemented a bit of control within the game and stuff like that. I'm excited for it. I think certain players should still not start. I know people are going to be like, well, why not? But I don't think Sonny should start. Bissouma, it depends on how he is with his malaria situation. He looks fit. In some of the Instagram videos we've seen, he looks happy, he looks fit. But it's nice to have a bit of a change on the bench as well, because it's been a bit of a poor bench as well for the past few games.
Amir, what's your thoughts on the Brighton game? What do you think? Is it going to be a difficult game? Is it going to be an easy game? Which Brighton are going to turn up tomorrow?
Well, you never know which Brighton are going to turn up. That's the question with them. Those guys can come out and beat you 4-2, or they can come out and roll over and you beat them 3-0, 4-1. You just never know. Will it be a difficult match? I think it will be a very, very difficult match for us. We're coming off, a shot in the gut up at Everton. Terrible goal conceded there. We're not coming in, fully confident. I think having Sonny back, that is a huge advantage for us. We've got Bissouma and Sarr back as well. Also a huge bonus. I do disagree with you though, David. I do think Sonny, should come straight back into that team for me. Even if he's only fit for 55, 60 minutes, start him. And then, as soon as he's knackered out, put on Werner, get someone else on. But I think you've got to start your best players. And for me, this match, Everton was crucial, but this one here, we're going on to a run of home games. We can really, really apply some pressure. If we get the win against Brighton, we're going in confident to the next two. And I want 9 points out of 9 for the next 3 games. I think that's doable. And if we want to aim for Champions League and we're aiming to push these guys at the top, then, you have to be winning your home matches. So for me, this is a huge match, and I'm not as excited as you, David. I think I'm more nervous. You know what I mean? This is a huge one for me.
You going to the game, Amir?
No, not to this one. Not to this one, unfortunately. Maybe Palace. We'll see.
We'll see. I'll give you a call later, Amir, to see if there's anything available. Ian, what's your thoughts on the game?
I think it's going to be a cracker. Both teams attack, both teams score, both teams concede. So it's got the makings of an open game. I think we owe them for what they did to us, and it was a beating. I know it was only 4-2 in the end, but it could have been 7-0 at half-time quite easily.
Yeah.
Easily. I hope that Ange is a bit cuter than he was last time, because De Zerbi gave him a tactical masterclass. And, sooner or later, I was sort of encouraged when he made the substitutions at half-time against Brentford because managers have been leaving in for dead. Plan A doesn't work. Let's try plan A again. Doesn't work. Let's keep doing plan A. And it hasn't worked in several games this year. And because of that, we are fifth instead of maybe second or third. So do I think we'll win? Yes. I think it'll be tight. I think based on what I saw last week, where we put Sarr coming back from overseas on the bench, I think you'll see the same with Basuma and Son. Although, yes, I would probably play Sonny, provided he's not jet lagged. Basuma, I understand, has been past fit, so he'll be there, and I think maybe he'll play Sarr, Maddison, and I think Højbjerg. I think he'll give maybe Bentancur a rest because I think the guy needs a rest. He's way off his game at the moment, and it's just because he's getting back into it. He's had two big injuries over the last year, and he's struggling at the moment.
He's off the pace, isn't he? He's not the same player we had last year.
He's not the same.
Same as Maddison, though, isn't it? You know what I mean? He's just come back. They're not going to get straight into it, are they? They need a few games in them.
They do. They do indeed.
And that's what went wrong last Saturday at Everton. The game was lost in midfield. Maddison was just coming back. Benson comes off his game. Højbjerg's not up to it. And we were buried in midfield. We got away with a draw.
Ian,
in the end.
Ian, for you, do you think that Ange's management of that second half cost us?
Do I think it cost us?
His subs, the way we.
I think he made. I think with the subs he made one mistake. I think at the end of the day you've got to keep the ball, particularly when you're under pressure.
Yeah.
And one player who could put his foot on the ball was Maddison, and he took him off. And as soon as that happened, the floodgates opened, and they just poured through midfield even more. You can look at mistakes. Kulusevski lost the ball.
Yep.
Romero headed it back across goal. Richarlison didn't track Branthwaite. Players make mistakes. It happens every game. They're human. But in terms of tactically, yes, he shouldn't have pulled Maddison off. Shouldn't have pulled him off.
Yeah.
Who do you think starts tomorrow, guys? Who do you think start? Let's go through some starting 11s before we get the final thoughts of the show. David, what's your team for tomorrow?
Obviously, Vicario in goal, Porro, Romero, Van der Ven, Udogie. Midfield, it's a tough one. Obviously, Maddison has to start. If Basuma's fit, I'd like to have him in.
Yeah.
And with Bentancur being off it, Højbjerg is just. I'd say Sa. I'd go Basuma, Maddison, Sa in midfield. Up front, it'll be Verma, Richarlison, and a mix between either Kulusevski or Brennan, just to start the game with. For me, I understand getting Sonny in because he'll galvanise the team. He's fantastic. But the amount of football he's played over the past couple of games over in the Asian Cup, don't want to risk him straight off the bat. If our front is not good enough to give Brighton a game for at least 60, 65 minutes, then that's a big telling point as to where the team is. For me, the fact that if we have to use Sonny that early on, then that's a big telling point for me.
Absolutely.
That's my point.
Amir, who's your teammate?
So I pretty much agree with everything that David said there, apart from the whole Sonny Werner thing. I would stick Sonny on and bring Werner off the bench. I'd probably stick with Kulu there on the right-hand side. I think Johnson, for me, his performances haven't warranted him keeping his place. Might sound a bit harsh on the young lad. I know he's got a couple of assists and a goal, but he still needs to be showing more for me on the ball. The only one that I'm kind of 50-50 on and that I really don't know where I'd go if I was in Ange's place is the Basuma role there. Would I go with Basuma or Bentancur? Like Ian said, Bentancur's looked a bit off it, but he's so good when he's on his day that do you play him? Or do you say, Rodrigo, have a little rest, bring in Basuma, who's coming in, been past fit, raring to go from the AFCON. And I do think the best midfield we've seen this season so far is that Bissouma, Sarr, Maddison combo. So I wouldn't mind seeing it against Brighton, and I think giving Biss a shout against his old side, could come up with a great performance, hopefully, and get back to playing that way he was in the first 10 games, because we could really do with a Bissouma, for sure.
What's your thoughts on the starting 11, Ian? Do you play Sonny? Do you not play Sonny? What's your entire thoughts on the game?
Starting 11, what 11 would I pick? The 11 I would start with, and it's going to be slightly different to what you guys have said. I will play 3 at the back because I think we're far too open. We've let in 27 goals in the last 14 games. There's only, I think, Forest and Burnley that have conceded more. So I would start with Romero, Mickey and Dragusin in a back 3. I would have Porro and Dogi wide as wing backs. I think they're both fabulous going forward. They're both terrific with distribution. And I would have Bissouma and Sarr in midfield, with Maddison in front playing off Sonny and Richie. And that would be my 11.
What's your thoughts on Ian's team, Amir?
Do you know what? I find it really interesting that he wants to go to a 5, after seeing us play like that for a very long time and it not be the attacking way. I can see where his thinking's coming in under Ange, does a tactical change like that win us the game or get us over the line in a few of the matches where we've dropped points? I think he actually could do. And maybe that's something that Ange needs to learn coming into the Prem, that there are matches where you need to make a little tweak to the system. It's not that you're not believing in your system, fully. It's that you believe that you can adjust to 3 at the back and still win the game and still play the way you want to play. So
I think we've become too predictable.
There's something
in our style. This way, you've got the width with the speed of the wing backs, and you've also got Maddison playing off the front 2 in midfield. So it's not predictable now. It's either or.
The only thing that would worry me with that formation, Ian, would be that middle of the park. If you get some really good players in there in the middle, they could boss us. The way we didn't run it at Everton. But
you drop the boys back, so you got your wing backs become in effect full backs. So you could play a 5-3-2.
Could do that.
Does that not limit the way they've been trained this season, though, to be inverted?
Well, we're letting in goals, but you're leaving wide gaps down the wings.
Yeah.
I think it'd be interesting to see. I think it'd be very interesting to just get a look at Ange's team playing that formation. Would be very.
Plus, we'd have more protection off the set pieces with Dragusin, wouldn't we? Especially with what's his name, that bloody massive defender they've got. Dunk. Yeah, Dunk. Yeah. You know what I mean? We need that because we've seen from set pieces, majority of the goals have been conceded via them. So I think having a Dragusin in there in the 3 does make logical sense because he's really good in the air. It'd be interesting to see. I'd like to see it.
Absolutely. Final thoughts, everyone.
Must win. That's all I know. Must win.
David, final thoughts of the game.
Yeah, it's like Mia said, it's a must win. I think we will win. So yeah, I'll give a score prediction. I'm gonna go 2-1 Spurs.
What's your score prediction, Emir?
Do you know what? Let's go with, we're finally going to close out a game. Let's go 3-1. We're finally going to have some, a nice 20 minutes where we can be relaxed. Come on, I'll be positive. Let's go.
And Mr. Lubin.
Playing gung-ho. I think we're going to win. We like conceding 2 goals most matches. 3-2.
Right.
That's going to have me heart going.
Yeah, I can't take a 3-2. I want a nice, calm 3-1. We've scored the second by the 70th minute, or the third, by the 70th minute, and we can relax.
Yeah, absolutely. But there's no such thing as relaxing with Tottenham. Right, everyone. Where can we find you? Ian?
At Lugo_61 on Twitter, Spaces on Twitter, and Cockerel Doodle Doo.
Amir, where can we find you?
You can obviously find me over here on Tottenham on Tour, and you can also catch me over on We Are Tottenham TV when I'm up there doing the watch-alongs.
David, where can we find you?
You can find Yeah, you can find me on here doing a little show like this, and then our new show, The Morning Brews, that we'll be doing there. And you can find me over on Twitter. My name's changed, by the way, on Twitter. It's now Redukin Roadman. I had a little switch up because obviously Dragusin coming in. I thought I'd change it a little, so it's not Rodrigo anymore. It's Redukin Roadman.
Absolutely. Right, everyone, a final call to please subscribe to the Coffee Company. I am redirecting directly to the stream that's been going simultaneously, so you've got no excuse not to be redirected there and press that subscribe button. It really helps us out a lot. We will be back here on Sunday for Lange management, with Brian returning from his bout of illness and from working, and with Mr. Johnny, who has also passed his fitness test. We will be back. We'll be back. Look out for some videos tomorrow from the game. I will be in my gorilla position, having a laugh, doing some videos. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. And as always, if you smell what the cough is brewing, have a great rest of your day. Ciao for now.